I'd like to point out this isn't the first time that people have tried to kill me. The appointees that Trump brought in are respected, staid people in finance.
It is the only way that crypto is either going to succeed or be kind of a limp duck or utterly fail. So, asset that consistently has regained and improved its value over time.
Welcome to the Crypto Swamp Creatures, the show you never knew you needed and still don't want anyways. I'm Christopher Alexander, your blockchain and advocacy communications expert.
And I'm Justin Wallin, your guide through the often murky world of politics and polling.
Every week, we dive into the intersection of crypto, policy, and politics without taking sides. We're here to give you the straight, data-driven analysis that influences the decisions of those who want to win or want to be elected.
Think of it as a late 80s newscast, but with a twist. We bring you the serious stuff, but with a dash of sardonic wit and just a hint of irreverence.
So whether you're a crypto enthusiast, a policy wonk, or just someone who appreciates a data-driven approach, this is your place.
We bring you both sides, weigh the impact on crypto, and then we share what we use for show prep every week on our Medium.
So remember, no one is as smart as someone who agrees with you. And now get ready to enter the no swamp zone.
Justin, there was huge news all the way back in January. Probably some of the most impactful government-related activity around cryptocurrency, and it blew past everyone, including us. And that is an SEC task force that has been set up to fix regulation in the crypto industry. And it contains our personal favorite Scalia-like opinion writer, Hester Pierce.
This is fantastic, by the way. If there's anything that makes you happy in the crypto world, it is that particular thing. Absolutely extraordinary human being.
Yeah, it's kind of like if we assign probabilities. Scalia once wrote of a Nietzschean approach or world in one of his opinions. If anyone is going to reference Nietzsche in an opinion, it's going to be Hester Pierce. But yeah, this happened in late January. I don't think people really understand how impactful it really is. They are clearly, in the president's initial crypto executive order, talked about creating a reserve, talked about making the U.S. the greatest crypto capital of the world, and that involved better regulations. So Hester Pierce is probably going to make your life easier if you own any Bitcoin at all, if you have it on a centralized exchange, and well, maybe even on a decentralized exchange. Actually, we'll see what they do. But when you talk about impacting your daily use of crypto, this is far bigger news than crypto summits, or I would argue even the strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, ultimately, the regulation or lack thereof, if you look at the last 4 years, it is the only way that crypto is either going to succeed or be kind of a limp duck or utterly fail. So this is the herald of really what can be an extraordinary next 4 years, 10 years, 2 decades.
Yeah, and to kind of close out, when you look at Bitcoin price, it's down. We're all doomed. Also, it's going to be worth $3 million in a month. Depending on which hand.
Let's just put this in context. Bitcoin is down at what?
80,000, down from a high of 110.
80,000, down from 100,000. And what was it 4 years ago?
The highest it could have been was 60, but it is probably around 40 or 30.
Okay, and then it went down to 20.
Yeah, 20, and then up to 120. So it's volatile.
Just fine. It is a volatile asset. It is a volatile asset, right? I think we can all agree on that. It's a volatile asset that consistently has regained and improved its value over time. Remarkable.
Absolutely. It's a terrible and wonderful thing for day traders. If you just hold on and don't read the news, right? I mean, that's what all about. But I do think it's part of a market correction. Bitcoin now tracks along with the stock market. It used to track more with the US dollar. But this is going to be big over the long term. And it speaks to something that I think also people are panicking about a little bit in crypto that they don't need to be. You've had, we talked about this earlier, the appointees that Trump brought in are respected, stayed people in finance, at Treasury, so on and so forth. And they've been very, very clear, anyone involved in kind of economic policy, that we are taking some short-term pain for some long-term gain. And I've seen a few articles saying that really the administration doesn't care about the stock market, they care about the economy. And I think perhaps that's been a poorly focused on metric by too many administrations. The stock market doesn't make Americans rich. The economy doing well makes Americans' lives better. We'll see what happens, but I think that's part of what's driving price down.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, and that's all being driven by tariffs and the uncertainties that tariffs create. There, obviously, we have tariff maximalists, to coin a term from the crypto space. They can only do good, but underlying all of that, most of us recognize that tariffs and the threat of tariffs, they are negotiating tools. They are hammers. They are very blunt. But bluntness can be extraordinarily effective when you're trying to alter a deeply tilted playing field and get it to be more level. I think that's the goal overall. I think it's clear that that's the goal. The risk, which the stock market is evidencing, is what happens over time. Because over time, tariffs are always, or at least historically, right? The world could change tomorrow, right? I mean, the sun could come up and it could be green. That's a possibility. Over time, they are remarkably damaging, and they have a long tail of damage. So we'll see how this plans out, and ultimately, tariffs now impact the stock market, and the price of crypto is very much tied to the undulations of the stock market.
So bottom line, just don't worry about it. Give it a year, then you can worry about it.
Yeah, the market is.
The economy is not going to change. They're making changes to the economy, and they don't expect positive effects right away. And let's hope they're right. You never want to root against the country, and I definitely don't want to root against my crypto holdings. So
exactly right. Take a breath. Be patient.
But wait, there's more.
I spoke at the Bitcoin event, Bitcoin Day, in Naples, Florida. I was up on stage with Charlie Shrem. If you don't know who that is, look it up. Obviously, I'm talking to the audience, all four of them. I believe there was an attempt on my life.
Yes, I've heard of this. This was in Florida, correct? And it's my understanding that there are trained teams, some rolling solo, of assassins. And I'm interested. Tell me more. What was your opinion?
I know it sounds fantastic. I'd like to point out this isn't the first time that people have tried to kill me. So, I believe I'm a pretty impartial on this, but I was getting ready to head to the airport.
Should we say you're more of a connoisseur of the activity, really? You observe it and analyze it with a somewhat detached flavor of capability and enthusiasm.
If I may, I think former professional.
Exactly.
Also, we'll get to it in a sec. So I heard a strange, get ready to go to the airport, a lot of tile, it's Florida, keep the place cool, Spanish style, it was an Airbnb, a couple of us were in it. I was alone, they clearly waited, and I heard this, exactly, planning, wanted to corner me alone. I heard this strange scraping sound and became aware that the front door had been pushed open. And I sensed a presence, an entity, if you will. I got up and was somewhat cautious, I have to admit. I kind of used cover and concealment, peeked around the corner, and at that point headed into my room. So understand now, it knew which room I was in. There were several. There were 3 people. There were several bedrooms it could have gone into. It went to mine. I saw about a 3-foot tail of a lizard of some sort. So, compounding my issues, I had called a Lyft. It was coming to get me. It was going to take me to the airport. My bag was in the room with this very large lizard. Now, there are lizards, because I was in Malaysia and I was in Myanmar. They have monitor lizards. If that thing bites you, you're like dead. They're like the ultimate like
Monitors are a totally different animal. They've got enzymes in their spit that actually curdles your blood or something horrifying. It's out of a horror movie, and you basically just kind of chill out, and then they eat you relatively alive.
Yes. So Komodo dragon, monitor lizard, not sure, but a couple of points.
Do we have can I pull up an image of this? I think I can. Would you like me to pull up an image of this?
Yeah, you want to pull that up while I'm talking? We can see the animal that was set to kill me. To my credit, I described the size of the animal correctly when I had to leave and call everyone else and say, listen, great conference. I got some bad news. There's a very large animal in my room that came in from the wild. So I headed off to the airport. I believe animal control was called. There's a picture. It climbed up the curtains. I didn't see it under the bed. I had to go get my bag. And I'm like, well, sometimes you live, sometimes you don't. So I just kind of rolled in there, cautious, but I did have to leave my Coke Zero. Well, I'm thinking exciting editing happens here. Maybe it like spins out while we're talking, dissolve.
Godzilla or Mothra.
So let's test the limits of editing and see what our great team at DYOR network does.
What other big takeaways did you have from the conference?
Oh yeah, that. Well, aside from the lizard trying to assassinate me, some interesting stuff's going on in the DeFi space. There was a lot of optimism around Bitcoin when it was up, I think, 20 or 30% from when I went there. But I think industries sort of braced, at least on the Bitcoin side, to wait and see what happens from some of the changes, which we're going to talk about right away in some other segments.
And that's all for this week on the Crypto Swamp Creatures.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the intersection of crypto, politics, and policy.
Remember, the data doesn't lie, and neither do we. Well, not about anything important anyways.
Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, stay out of the swamp.